Let's hope, partner, that the rain stays away. It's been raining all morning here in downtown St. Louis. It has just let up. The tarp is off the field. Jeff Suppan is taking his warm-up tosses. And another sold-out crowd is expected this afternoon as the Cardinals and the Rockies play in game number 3 of this 3-game set. A look at the Rockies lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Sullivan, Carroll, and Helton. Helton has struggled in this series, a .336 career batting mark, highest among active players. Then Holiday's had a great series with 3 home runs. Pop, Farmas, Smith, Ardwayne, and Byung-Hun Kim for the Rockies. The advanced auto parts starter, Jeff Suppan, with a record of 3-2 for the Cardinals, and he has pitched very well, Al, as of late.
Yeah, he's been pitching well. He's 3 wins shy of 100 for his career. And you just see him go out there. The last 2 years, he's posted 16 season victory totals. Gets 5 runs of support. He's 3-2 on the year. The team is 3-3. And he averages 5 2/3 runs per start.
Albert Pujols, the hero from last night. He'll play at first base this afternoon. The defense is brought to you by Auto Tire. Only first baseman in the National League without an error. He's at first. Miles, the former Rocky, at second. Eckstein and Rowland on the left side of the infield. Rodriguez, Edmonds, Encarnacion in the outfield. Gary Bennett is behind the plate. And this ballpark is still buzzing because of that man, Albert Pujols, and his 3-run home run in the 8th off of Jose Mesa last night. The Cardinals won it 4-2 in game number 2. The lights are working, but we're going to have Joe West talk it over with Jeff Suppan as they wait to accommodate television, I'm sure. Jim Wolf is behind the plate. Joe West at first. Ed Rapuano is at second. Tony Randazzo is the third base umpire. Last night we had the bank of lights down the right field line and first base line were out. And now we have a brief little stoppage at the start of play here today. What's going on out there?
I think it's something about visiting TV and a TV camera in the visitors dugout that Joe West was taking exception to. Let's go play baseball and get in. Make this an official game.
Here's Corey Sullivan. And he looks at a ball outside. First pitch at 12-12 here in St. Louis. Sullivan is hitting .299. 1 home run, 6 RBIs on the year. That one's in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jeff Suppan is coming off a win at Florida. As he pitched into the 9th, Tony La Russa gave him every chance to try to complete that game. And the Cardinals would win it by the score of 7-2. He went 8 1/3. It's 64 degrees, our game time temperature. The other starters, Jason Marquis, Chris Carpenter, Mark Mulder watching the starter today. And there's Sidney Ponson, and that's Jeff Suppan on the mound for the Cardinals.
When you're on the disabled list, you got to get a half step away.
That's what it is, huh?
Yeah.
Good start for Suppan with a strikeout.
Well, it really is a good start because Sullivan had been 4 for 4 off of Jeff, but he's having a tough series, only 1 for 10 now. And anytime you get that first man out, you feel relieved. And you get it with a strikeout, it's even better.
Brings in the batter, Jamie Carroll. There's the line, 119 pitches in that start. Last time out for Suppan down in South Florida against the Marlins. Jamie Carroll is hitting .328 on the year. Looks at a ball on the outside corner, a little low. Late arriving crowd here in Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis.
I think that's. I think they're entitled to the way the weather had been all morning.
Ground ball backhanded by Albert. You got to sneak out of work too, Al. You got to be creative on these day games.
Yeah, you got to work a little bit longer, and then I'm just going to take a late lunch today at 12 o'clock.
It brings in Todd Helton, who's been quiet in this series. And Helton has hit a lot of fly ball outs. You look back at game number 1, he was 0 for 5. 3 times he flied to left. Last night he flied to left, popped out to second. He struck out to end the game. He struck out twice in the game. And he also walked the only time he's been on base in this series.
4 for 20 since coming back off the disabled list with that illness.
Illness in which he lost 15 pounds and It's an illness to his intestine. He had to be checked into the hospital. They weren't sure exactly what the problem was. Had fevers. Couldn't keep anything down, and this one is hit out to left center. Rodriguez coming on. He's going to make the play. Good start for Jeff Suppan. A 1-2-3 first. We're at Busch, and there's no score. There's no score between the Rockies and the Cardinals. Look at Tony La Russa's lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Eckstein, Rodriguez, Pujols here in the first, followed by Edmonds, the cleanup man, then Roland, Encarnacion, Bennett, Miles, and Suppan. 37 games for Albert against the Rockies, and he's put up impressive numbers. Byung-Hyun Kim, he's 1-0 on the season. Opponents hitting .231. Now, when he was a closer in Arizona, at times he could be dominant. He's trying to regain that form, and now he's a starter with the Rockies. And when he originally came over to play in the United States, he felt that he was best suited to be a starter, and now he gets his wish.
He spent most of April on the disabled list. This is only his third start, and you can see he's had 2 starts of 9 strikeout batters in each with only 2 walks, so 18-2 strikeout to ball ratio. They say his slider is back like it was when he was a closer, and the Cardinal hitters are going to see a lot of fastballs early in the count, working much quicker, and then that late sweeping slider that has become a good strikeout pitch for him. And whatever it is, Dan, the Korean culture, it makes him feel that, you know, he is so much better. He's side armor, but you see that ball running right back in to the right-handed batter. But to him, it's like it's all about starting. It's almost a symbol of disgrace to be a lowly closer.
Remember when he first came to the big leagues and how hard he was throwing from this position too? He was mid-90s. High 90s with that nasty slider, and the ball, because of where he delivers it, elevates. It's on the rise sometimes as it gets to the plate. Eckstein pulls it foul, and David is the only Cardinal to start every game this season.
David's only faced Kim 1 time. He's 0 for 1.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Fights it off again.
Good battle going on here. Not all of them have been strikes, but
a lot of people felt it took a long time for Kim to shake off what happened in the World Series against the Yankees too. As at Yankee Stadium, the Yankees in the World Series hit 2 dramatic home runs and Kim blew saves. Pretty good at bat here by David Eckstein. We've come to expect this. Leading things off, making this pitcher work. This will be the 8th pitch coming in this at bat.
Only 1 ball, 6 strikes to this point.
Here's a 1-2. Eckstein out to right field. Will be taken by Brad Hopp for the first out. Behind Kim this afternoon, the auto tire defense for the Colorado Rockies looks like this. Holiday, Sullivan, and Hopp in the outfield. No errors this season for Corey Sullivan. Smith, Varmus, Carroll, Helton on the infield. Dwayne is behind the plate. Byung-Hyun Kim on the mound. That's a look at the auto tire defense. And they say that Corey Sullivan is way above average defensively as a center fielder. John Rodriguez hitting .400 on the year. Interesting to see that Tony La Russa would pinch hit for Rodriguez against Jose Mesa last night with the kind of numbers that John has put up. But then you saw the numbers that Encarnacion had against Jose Mesa, and you knew why.
Well, you know, because you're thinking traditionally you got a left-handed batter against a right-handed pitcher. Why would you put a right-handed batter up? That was probably last night's game was probably the toughest offensive game for John Rodriguez. And then when you saw the numbers by the veteran, and I talked to Encarnacion about it, and he says no rhyme or reason, just good luck, but it was the right move to make.
Rodriguez with a base hit through the hole. It's short and third, and it's a 1-out hit. And again, how important now is it to get somebody on in front of Albert Pujols, so you just can't straight walk him to first base.
Well, and the good thing about, Rodriguez is in there after that tough night because Kim has been able to control right-handed batters. They're batting 171. Now this is an exceptional, unbelievable hitter, leading the major leagues with, look at that, 17 home runs and 41 RBIs. The left-handed batters are batting 455. And add that with Rodriguez's hit.
Albert Pujols, a dramatic home run last night, and he looks at a strike to start this ball game for him offensively. No score here in the bottom of the first. Runners on. He's hitting .385, 8 home runs. Bases empty. He's got 9 jacks and a .267 batting average. Runner at first is John Rodriguez. Short lead there. The 0-1 pitch for a long look by Kim. On its way to Albert. Ooh, right on it, fouled it back. 94 miles an hour. The velocity is back for Kim too.
Yes. Albert has seen Kim. Last year he split time minor leagues, Washington, and then had some success when he came over to Colorado. Pretty much bunch him in the outfield. Obviously they're deep.
The 0-2 is hit out to deep left field. On the move, Holiday looking up, fair ball, home run for Albert. He's done it again. Number 18 for Pujols. RBIs 42 and 43, and the Cardinals lead it 2-0 on another home run from one of the game's best, if not the best, Albert Pujols.
Well, and this is not a typical Albert Pujols home run swing. So much of the time he stands so erect. You see the major league leader in home runs, but drops down to the side and slider, but he's looking how far he's out in front a little bit, and yet he catches enough of it and just keeps it fair with a long home run.
Alan, looking at the replay, it's not that bad of a pitch. Look at where it is. It's on the black of the outside corner, and yet he still is able to yank it down the third base line and keep it fair.
Well, you see how he, reaches out there and just, pops that wrist and just throws it over the fence.
Unbelievable.
I said, they're going to intentionally pass him in the second half, but he might already have a record too. He already has them for April, may have them in May.
The 14 home runs last month, that set a major league record as he passed up Luis Gonzalez and Ken Griffey Jr. He matched the club record for RBIs in April, tying Mark McGwire with 32. He did that back in 1998. And we told you during the Open that Albert Pujols is on a pace to shatter Barry Bonds' record. Now, again, we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but you take a look at what he's done, it just puts in perspective the kind of pace that he is on right now. That's ball 4 to Jim Edmonds. Edmonds is on the inside corner. That's 3 in a row that have reached. Distance of the home run, 379 feet for Albert Pujols. Last night, Al's situation where Jose Mesa later said, I'm going right after him. And, you look at it, the guy's been a closer in the past. Tony La Russa said it's the best we have seen him throw even at the age of 40. And what he's doing right now, and we got a good look at him the last couple of seasons with the Pirates. And that's up the middle and a base hit for Scott Rowland. 4 consecutive batters have reached, but Mesa went right at him. To me, though, the 3-2 pitch that he gave him obviously didn't move. It's got to be something that he's got to try to get himself out on.
That's you can't even second guess the pitch. You totally second guess location and the results. But Bob Apodaca, the pitching coach, out to talk to Kim. And when you lose Scott Rowland, this may not be his day, or at least not this inning, because Scott was just 2 for 15 against him. You know who has the best numbers against Kim? Bigby, 4 for 7, 571, but he's on the bench.
I think you and I would both agree in the situation last night with Pujols. You can't walk him. I mean, and I know he's getting into that Bonds category where some people say, go ahead and do it. I mean, Barry Bonds has been walked intentionally with the bases loaded before in his career to walk in a run, but at that time you got Jose Mesa with 300+ saves and the game on the line, and still the game's best only do it 3 out of 10 times.
All right, how about this? Because Tony sent the runners. What if he hits a line drive to third? It's a triple play. What do you think that crowd's reaction would have been?
A little different.
So, I mean, you know, I even though it was a game-winning home run, Mesa did what he had to do.
0-1 pitch to Encarnacion.
He just didn't execute.
Right. Mesa would later say, too, he thought that it hit off his foot on the ball that Encarnacion hit a rope on. It was hard hit, just a rocket off his bat in that 8th inning to get to Pujols to make it first and second. And he said the ball went off his foot. Clint Hurdle argued that point.
He also said he thought he struck him out on that 2-2 pitch.
Right.
And he's starting to get superstar treatment. Now,
like Bonds.
Well, I go back to Yastrzemski in Boston. You know, superstars that in their home park you couldn't get a called strike.
Swing and a miss by Encarnacion. That's the first strikeout for Kim on the afternoon. And there's 2 outs. It's the same kind of thing that we saw in an afternoon game a couple of weeks ago here at Busch Stadium, where Pujols checked his swing. They thought that was strike 3 against the Pirates. And remember, then he yanked the next pitch down the third base line for an RBI base hit to win the game.
Right.
That's Gary Bennett, who's kind of turned into the personal catcher for Jeff Suppan. Bennett is hitting .200, no home runs, 4 RBIs. Cardinals lead it 2-0 with 3 hits here in the first inning off of Young Hun Kim.
The thing you like about Gary Bennett is his ERA, his catcher's ERA, when he is catching Suppan or anyone else, the pitcher's ERA is 2.62. Outstanding.
Since his rookie season, Al, to put it in perspective, how many home runs Pujols has hit. He came into play today second to Barry Bonds, who had 219 since Albert came into the league. And Albert had 218. Now it's 219 apiece. Simply amazing.
And he's 1 away for tying Mark McGwire for 4th place in the Cardinals all-time homer list at 220.
I know Tommy, our director, is trying to find him in that dugout, and he can't because I'm sure he's back in the video room and studying his at-bat. I don't know if there's a guy that studies more tape or film than Albert Pujols in the game of baseball.
When you hit so many home runs, it's not too. It's kind of fun to watch it. It's not painful.
I mean, I'll go back to the pitch. I mean, that thing is on the black. It's not that bad of a pitch, and it's not like it was up in the zone either. But yet he's able to go down and get it. And it reminds me of a home run that he hit last year at Coors Field, where his backside almost completely collapsed and his knee was on the ground, his right knee, and yet he was still able to hit a ball out of the ballpark. 2-2 the count now on Bennett. Runners at first and second. 2-0 Cardinals here in the first.
And wait till his back and shin quit aching.
I talked to Tony La Russa about the foot problem that he had from a year ago, and he said he had a little treatment at the end of spring training, and they have not heard about that foot problem, the heel problem, any longer. He's talking with Encarnacion. That was around the batting cage a couple of nights ago, and Albert was trying to help him out. As many of these guys will take a listen, and why not? Helton will take that one, a ground ball off the bat of Bennett. The Cardinals strand 2, but Albert Pujols picks up his 18th home run. RBIs 42 and 43. And it's 2-0 Cardinals after an inning of Pujols as we move to the top of the second. Albert Pujols home runs by direction. This includes on the road as well. But how many home runs, Al, has he hit at this ballpark? A total of 11. But how many has he hit just inside the foul pole down the left field line? It's been amazing as he pulled that last pitch that he saw out of the ballpark down the left field line.
Slider out away from him, and he just gets that tremendous plate coverage, hooks the ball, keeps it fair. And as you said, I remember the one that he was a game winner, the 14th and the last one in April that was to right field. But boy, it seems like so many of those 10 other home runs have been right in that left field corner.
Speaking of home runs, here's Matt Holliday. He's got 3 in this series, 10 on the year, 32 RBIs, and he did have a multi-home run game a year ago against today's starter Jeff Suppan.
2 at-bats against Jeff, 2 home runs.
Here's the 0-1 pitch.
.500 average in his career against Cardinal pitching.
He was tied with Pujols for the lead in extra base hits. Albert now with 23 and Holiday with 22. And some of these young players now for the Rockies, homegrown talent, are starting to come up to the major leagues and make a difference. And they got a little taste of that a year ago, and that experience has been invaluable for Clint Hurdle's club this season.
Another year of maturity. Right now things are going well because they're hitting on the road, they're winning on the road, but most of that is because they're pitching well.
Swing and a miss, and a good pitch by Suppan, his second strikeout of the afternoon.
That had a little more juice on that ball, and it had a little whipping action at the end of it. As a little tilt, a little dive at the end, and a good location to a hot hitter.
Now it's Brad Hopp, the right fielder for the Rockies. Tied for second in the National League. He's got 41 hits. He's hitting .342, which is third best in the league. Out of LSU, he played in the College World Series, was a terrific doubles hitter in college. He's got 8 home runs this season.
So far, the National League's best hitter on the road with a .422 average.
Got to wonder if it's a mental thing for this franchise to try and break the idea that they can't hit or win away from Coors Field. They hear it every single day. You start believing it. Not this year. They're starting to win and hit.
Well, I think, part of it might be, too, you got a bunch of young guys that just play the same style of baseball home and road. Or before, they changed their approach to hitting. They did different things, more veteran type players. Now these guys are just hungry and want to play.
Pitch way inside.
Remember when Roger Craig went to San Francisco and he told all the Giants pitchers, he says, listen, it's the visiting team that can't stand playing in Candlestick. It's cold, it's windy. Use it to your advantage. And I think that's what's happened with the Rockies pitchers, that they're starting to understand that, hey, throw sinkers. It's the visiting pitchers that come into Coors Field that come down with that dreaded Denveritis.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Grounded foul.
You notice how that near terminal illness, Denveritis, only lasts about 3 days.
I can't stand it when it happens.
Well, it could be 4 days if it's a 4-game series.
What's funny is a lot of hitters lose Denveritis when they go in there. But the pitchers, they seem to find it.
The pitchers acquire it, and it's almost like coming in, it affects you, leaving it leaves you.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Hit high in the air out to right field. Encarnacion is camping under it. It's a second out. The Cardinals are offering a limited edition inaugural game print featuring an awesome view of the ballpark and St. Louis skyline from opening day. Order today for only $98 by calling 345-9000 or go to stlcardinals.com, the official website of the St. Louis Cardinals. Clint Barmas is the hitter, the shortstop. Day baseball this afternoon here from St. Louis and Busch Stadium.
Remember when we played? Oh, we were good. These guys today, I think they're reminiscing some of the Sandlot days, having some fun out there.
A 2-0 pitch. How do you think guys like Todd Helton, and even when Walker is up for consideration, will be looked at with their numbers when the Hall of Fame takes a look at those guys because of the factor of Coors Field? I think it's a legitimate question as to how you have to evaluate home runs and batting average at that ballpark.
It is legitimate. It's a great question, but yet by the same token, you can't. Todd Helton, a guy that was drafted, came up through the organization. You can't penalize him for having to play there.
That's out to deep left field. It is hooking. If it's fair, it's gone possibly. And it is a foul ball. Varmus almost picked up his third home run. Just how foul was it? Barely.
We also had our breakfast today, our Phillies breakfast. We got a little bit of foul pole 101, didn't we?
We sure did, as Mark Lamping was one of the guest speakers. The foul pole had to be changed. Changed for this series and obviously for the rest of the season and into next year and on and on and on. They were too big, and it was a problem for the fans out there as far as the sight lines. You mentioned an interesting point right there. If we can stop it, the camera, you can see in that lower area, there's Al with the telestrator. Nice work, Al, pointing out the netting at the bottom portion of that foul pole. A swing and a miss by Clint Varmus. Jeff Suppan with 3 strikeouts in the first 2 innings of play. Miles, Suppan, and Eckstein coming up. It's 2-0 Redbirds. By Singular Wireless. Just look it up. When was the Cardinals' last off day? The 15th, the 20th, May 1st, April 25th, or other. 42957 to text your answer. The Cardinals' last off day, and we'll have an off day tomorrow. Here is Aaron Miles as we continue this 9-game homestand for the Cardinals. Off day tomorrow. Welcome Arizona to town, then an off day on Monday, and the Mets will come to St. Louis. The much improved New York Mets. Popped up by Miles out to shallow left. It's taken by Holiday.
As a condition of the collective bargaining agreement between management and the Players Association, you can have a maximum, you play a maximum of 20 days before you have an off day, and the Cardinals are in that stretch.
The batter will be Jeff Suppan.
Him shaking his head as that slider missed.
See Jeff Suppan with that red bat. Some players in Major League Baseball will be using a pink bat on Mother's Day, and that includes David Eckstein of the Cardinals. Promote awareness for breast cancer research, and the players that use that pink bat will sign those for auction and try to raise some more money.
Edmonds and Eckstein with the Cardinals.
Good.
And benefit Susan B. Coleman.
A foundation that has raised millions of dollars for breast cancer research. 2 away, first 2 down against Byung-Hun Kim. Back to David Eckstein in the top of the order for St. Louis. Big Cardinal fan John Stivers is tuned in on MLB.TV. Located on the East Coast, Al, and he's watching us on his computer.
How's your computer working?
It's been outstanding. And yours?
Mine's like it's, you know, still sitting in the box.
And that would be because?
It's still sitting in the box.
That's right, okay. Here's a 1-0 pitch to David Eckstein. A little high, and it's a strike zone that's been a little tight here in the first 2 innings. Eckstein flied to right his first time up. Outfield very shallow for David. Hazy afternoon here in St. Louis.
Jim Wolf back behind the plate. Brother Randy, Major League pitcher. You'd think he'd be a pitcher's umpire, right?
You would think.
He must have had a lot of fights growing up.
David Eckstein with a base hit. Cardinals' 4th hit on the afternoon. And it brings in John Rodriguez, who has earned his playing time. A 2-out base hit here for the Cardinal leadoff man.
Eckstein had a good at bat the first time up, fouled off numerous pitches. This one a little bit further away. He didn't get it far enough away or too far inside, and David with a nice controlled strokes picks up his first hit. ever against Young Kim.
John Rodriguez came in hitting .389 in his 11 games started for the Cardinals. I mentioned that he has earned his playing time, and he's going to see more time starting now, Al, especially against right-handed pitching with the kind of start that he has had.
Well, Tony was talking about it's a tough decision. Sure, they'd like to know more about Larry Bigby, but how do you play him when you got a guy hitting .400 and he's struggled in his rehab?
There's no doubt that when he initially came up, we saw he could hit a fastball, and teams adjusted very quickly, and he was seeing changeups and curveballs, and he cooled off, but he has made quite the adjustment here in his second go-around in the major leagues.
Recognizing those pitches, and it's just a matter of time before connecting. Remember, left-handers, when you got a side armor, they get to see that release point. It's right out there. There's no body parts to hide the ball, so they get a good look at it, and they usually hit side arms very well.
Had a good rip at that one. 0-2 the count on John Rodriguez. He's starting left field this afternoon. Saw his 8-game hitting streak come to a close last night. He went 0 for 3. First time on an opening day roster for Rodriguez. 8+ seasons in the minor leagues. There goes the runner, and John just gets a piece to stay alive.
A lot of times you get a side armor, they're slow to the plate, so they're vulnerable to the steal.
Nothing at 2 the count. Dave Duncan and Jeff Suppan going over that book, and it is about 3-4 inches deep of notes and scouting reports on the hitters. Rodriguez hits it hard, but right at the second baseman, Jamie Carroll. Cardinals strand a man. Pujols left on deck, and Jeff Suppan back to work. Cardinals on top 2-0 as we head to the third. Our Schnooks of this date in baseball history. Phillies catcher Dave Coble catches a ball thrown from the top of Philadelphia City Hall. The rookie handled the 521-foot drop ball cleanly. At 633 feet high, the top of the arch.
Might be a little tough on today.
Trying to pick that thing up through the haze.
Yeah.
Jason Smith will lead it off against Jeff Suppan. The first pitch, tails in there for strike one. Now, Al, we just saw Gary Bennett throw it back to Jeff Suppan. It was in the dirt. Better get a new baseball.
No, that's by design. Scuffed up a little bit. Watch this ball sink. See?
Well, that really sunk.
I don't think a lot of today's pitchers would know how to deface a baseball and use it to their benefit. We'll get Don Sutton to give you a crash course.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to Jason Smith. Curveball just missed on the outside corner. You can see Suppan is pretty sharp here early on.
Yeah, he really is. And there have been times this year that I thought he's really made some of his best pitches, located the ball so much better than other times.
Swing and a miss at strikeout number 4 already for Suppan.
That's great because, Jeff makes that donation to the Intrepid Fund that send money for the Intrepid Fund, and they take good care in rehabilitation centers and take care of the families and children of armed forces servicemen and women that are injured and killed in action.
Well, here we are in the third inning. That already matches his season high for strikeouts. He had 4 and 8 1/3 in his last start against Florida.
Juan here, the catcher, staying in the lineup just because he's getting his pitchers to work fast and speeding up their tempo, but really struggling offensively.
Only hitting 183 on the year. No home runs, 2 RBIs. We were hoping to get this game started on time, and we did. It was raining pretty hard this morning here in St. Louis. Curveball misses up and in. 2 balls and a strike, and there's a haze that is settled over the playing surface here at Busch.
I don't know if it's a mist, but it just looks like it's not far from it.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. Just missed on the outside corner. Cardinals lead it thanks to an Albert Pujols home run. We're in downtown St. Louis at Busch Stadium.
Lights are on and they work.
And they work. There's a base hit into right, and the first base hit for the Rockies this afternoon. It brings in Byung-Hun Kim. First 20,000 women 16 and over with a paid admission receive a Tab Energy Deerberg's Canvas tote bag. Compliments a Coca-Cola. That's the official soft drink of the Cardinals and Deerberg's. For more information, check it out online at stlcardinals.com and click on the Prime Seat Club. 1 out base hit for Ardwayne, and it brings in Byung-Hun Kim. Scott Rowland in on the grass at third, anticipating the bunt. The Coke Pavilion out there in center field, just above the batter's eye. Every time I walk around this ballpark, I pick up something new, and that's one area I haven't been out to. Looking forward to it.
On right field there. I haven't been out in the outfield either. Not to left field corner, but not beyond. We're talking about that this date in Schnucks history or baseball history. The Atlanta Braves used to have a minor league manager, a former catcher, Clint Corton, a real character. And I think at one time he tried to catch a ball dropped from the Washington Monument.
And his success
I
was?
I don't think it was successful because it wasn't on this date in history.
As Kim gets the bunt down, Pujols will go to first. Miles is covering, and the sacrifice is good. That's 2 away, and we're back to the top of the order, and Corey Sullivan. Sullivan struck out to start the game. Suppan got off to a little bit of a rough start this season. He went 5 innings at Chicago, and he took a loss, then a no decision in 6 innings against Milwaukee. He lasted just 2 against Pittsburgh. One of the most lopsided losses of the year for the Cardinals, but then since then he's been very good. 7 innings against the Pirates, 6 innings and a 9-2 win against Washington, and he pitched into the 9th in his last start against the Marlins.
Well, if you remember in that Pittsburgh start, he had 0. And what was, he could still get people out if he could throw it on the corners, but everything was right down the middle.
Really slicing down the left field line and out of play.
Really struggled in that ball game, but since that time he's got, inside, outside, changing speeds. He knows how to pitch. But knowing how to pitch, and every now and then you'll get one of those flat days where you just can't locate. But it appears he's off to a pretty good start of locating his pitches today.
And how about the job he has done since signing as a free agent? Back-to-back years with 16 wins. And who could forget back in 04 when he matched up with Roger Clemens in Game 7 of the National League Championship Series and won that game. I mean, he has been as valuable as anybody in this rotation for the Cardinals.
Sometimes you see him, the better the opponent, pitching opponent, the better he, gets revved up and gets ready for the start.
Count of 2 balls and 1 strike. Last season he was just short of 200 innings for the 6th consecutive time in his career. So he's a guy that'll give you innings. He's going to give you quality starts more times than not and give you a chance to win.
He's going to throw his 6 innings. He's going to, probably get dinged for about 3 runs. But with this defense, this offense, he usually means he wins.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. Lifted out to left field. That's going to drop for a base hit and an RBI now for Sullivan. As scoring is Ardwayne, and the lead is cut to half. It's 2-1. A 2-out base hit for Corey Sullivan. His 7th RBI, and it's 2-1 Cardinals.
The thing I was shocked about Corey Sullivan is he already has 18 extra base hits. He had 23 all last season. But with 2 outs, a little flare, that runner at second base, a catcher, off and running, and no play to be made. So they're on the scoreboard, and here you go again. You know, whoever's pitching for the Rockies, even though it's early in this ball game, they usually keep their team in it.
It's Jamie Carroll. Stands way off the plate. Cardinals set up on the inside portion of the plate. Hits his mark, but just a bit inside for ball 1.
On time the guy's way off the plate, they'll stride into the pitch. So pitching inside, they'll jam themselves.
One ball, no strikes on Jamie Carroll. He grounded Albert Pujols his first time up. Check on the runner. Corey Sullivan at first. He's got good speed. The haze over the field here at Busch, and the game last night began in twilight with a little bit of artificial light, but we thought we may have a delay as we couldn't get the lights on, but problem solved, no problem. Encarnacion puts it away. Suppan allows his first run of the afternoon. An RBI base hit by Corey Sullivan. Pujols leads it off when we come back. Right to your screen, one of his favorites in the game of baseball, former Cardinal, former Oakland A, Mike Gallego, who's the third base coach and infield coach for the Colorado Rockies. Another one of Tony's favorites is Walt Weiss, who dresses out for home games for the Colorado Rockies as a special instructor. And let's see if Albert Pujols will see anything to hit in this at bat. Mike Gallego, he finished up with his playing career here in St. Louis in '96 and '97.
Not to take anything away from Gallego and Weiss and all the other outstanding players that Tony's had, but when it's all said and done, this guy may be his favorite of all time.
Albert Pujols, 2 balls and no strikes.
2 or 3 years ago, Tony stunned the world, calling Albert Pujols at that time the best player he ever managed. Was that an early prediction?
Yeah. Think about some of the talent that La Russa has been around, from Jose Canseco and Ricky Henderson, McGuire. Now to Albert Pujols.
Well, Baines and you know, Carney, Lansford, guys that, you know, that I know that he has, you know, favorites.
Eckersley.
Sure. You can go right down the list, but Albert was what, 2nd or 3rd year player when he made that statement.
As Mark McGuire said to Tony La Russa, you have got to add this guy to our roster out of spring training before his first season. The 3-2. Pujols hits it hard down the right field line. It is a fair ball just inside the line, and it hops over the wall, and it's a ground rule double for Albert Pujols. That may have hit the chalk down there in right.
I think it did, or very close to it. And I feel that Colorado, he hits a home run to left. Now he hits one pitch down the right field line, right on the chalk line for an extra base hit. How do you defend him? And we've been watching him throughout his career, and we wonder the same thing. How do you defend him? Just a fraction of an inch inside and possibly a part on it.
Al, that looked like, from the one camera angle that we had, the same pitch that he hit out.
Yeah, I was thinking that when I saw it the same way. It was very similar, but one swing he hooked it, that swing he went with it.
Edmonds lines it to the third baseman, Jason Smith.
That was a funny little swing.
He's trying to punch it through the left side. Remember, he did that the other night and picked up a base hit. You'd like, though, to see him take an aggressive cut and at least pull the ball and try to advance Albert Pujols to third. Let's take a look at the 2 pitches, the 2 hits for Pujols. Here is the home run pitch, and see if it's close to the next pitch we're going to see. It's on the outside portion, and this is the double. Almost identical spots.
Yeah, the home run was made slightly up a little bit, so a little more elevation, but he went with that pitch, probably thinking he wasn't going to get the same pitch away, and just punched it.
Rolling out in front of the plate. Pujols nowhere to go. Back to the bag at second. And Scott Rowland is 1 for 2. So just like that, 2 quick outs, and it's up to Encarnacion, who struck out his first time up. Kim with 1 strikeout on the afternoon of Juan.
Times when hitters will get good swings and make solid contact off of Kim, and there's going to be other times where the little swinging bunts like Rowland just made.
Juan is hitting .232, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. Pujols, the runner at second base in a 2-1 game. Encarnacion out to deep left field. Holiday back, track, wall, gone! Juan Encarnacion with his 5th home run, and it's 4-1 St. Louis.
And a 2-out home run. Where I said that Bigby had good numbers. Well, he went with Encarnacion, who was 2 for 4, and now he's 3 for 6. Got her first home run. Was Albert going to get stranded? Look at the cheerleader. He said, not today. You know what I think? You remember when we saw after the home run that Albert went down and we thought he was looking at the video? He probably was looking at his video. But remember when he came back, he talked to Encarnacion? I think he went up and watched the video of Encarnacion's first at bat.
And Al, I was saying this before. 2 nights ago, I was behind the cage and watching batting practice, and he specifically pulled aside Juan, and they started talking about his weight shift inside the batter's box and what he thought he needed to work on. So maybe they're picking up something on Juan Encarnacion.
And if you remember when he turned to the dugout after Juan's first at bat where he struck out,
right,
that's what he was mocking in the dugout there. He was talking about weight shift and swing and balance.
Swing and a miss by Gary Bennett. He's 0 for 2, but it's been a pair of 2-run home runs today. One by Pujols, the other by the Cardinal right fielder Encarnacion, and it's 4-1. Louis, the Cardinals have a lead of 4-1. Albert Pujols with a home run, his 18th. Juan Encarnacion, his 5th. Both 2-run shots, and it's 4-1 Redbirds. Encarnacion, that home run measured at 388 feet. Looking up the most home runs that Juan had in his major league career, 19. Not a huge RBI guy. He had 94 back in 03 with the Marlins, the year that they won the World Series. A season ago, 16 homers and 76 driven in. Quietly, he has started to pick it up.
I think that's everybody. A veteran guy with a track record, as long as he's not hurt. He hasn't hit the end of the road.
Seen a couple times last night and here today that Todd Helton just shaking his head after a couple of these swings and balls that he normally drives. Colorado played very well with him out of the lineup. Surprised a lot of people as they got off to a good start, and then Helton went down, and folks that follow the game of baseball said that's it for Colorado, but that wasn't the case, and he jumps on this pitch, hits it down the right field line, and foul.
You know, one of the guys that filled in for him while he was injured was Eli Marrero, and Marrero hit a few home runs in that. He's homered in 4 of his 9 starts. And last 7 starts have all been at first base, and he homered in 3 of those.
He lined out to left his first time, and he pulls this one foul. With the camera well next to the Cardinal dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 4-1 Cardinals here in the top of the 4th.
Sure. Major league pitchers are used to seeing Todd Helton just drive the ball, whether it's out of the ballpark, in the gaps. Just a terrific hitter.
Here's a 1-2. It's a rope.
That's Todd Helton like.
You can hear him grunt up here. Over to get it, Encarnacion. Helton thinking 2. And in there with a double. Leadoff double for Todd Helton, and it brings in Matt Holliday.
Still batting over 300, but it's been a struggle of late trying to regain his strength. And it's only a matter of time you can keep this hitter down. Todd Helton and Albert Pujols, the second fastest ever to 1,000 hits in their major league career.
Matt Holliday struck out first time up. The Rockies lead the National League West by a 1.5 over Arizona. Rockies at 20-14. The Cardinals, they're finished with this ball game, could be in first place. With a win, they'd be tied with Cincinnati. They start the play today, a half game back. The NL Central, Houston 2 games out. Houston has lost 5 straight. They were swept by the Rockies over the weekend. That ball gets away. Bennett can't get it in time, and Helton reads the play perfectly and winds up at third. How about Chicago? They are 1-9 in their last 10, and they have dropped 8 straight. They're 6.5 games out.
Ball in the dirt, tries to smother it, gets away from him a little bit. He sees, but Helton had a good read and great jump. And he's trying to make up for lost time. He hadn't been on those bases, and he wants to make sure he touches them all.
It's his first base hit of this series. 1 ball, 1 strike on Holliday. 3 home runs in the series. Broken bat and a single up the middle. Helton will score, and the lead is cut in half. It's 4-2. Holliday with his 33rd driven in. So a double to start this inning, then the single by Holliday, and it's 4-2 Cardinals. This month, baseball returns to Fox for another year of great moments from some of the game's biggest stars. Showdowns between the fiercest rivals, and incredible moments, as always, that turn players into legends. The Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week returns May 20th only on Fox. There's Brad off. He flied to right his first time up. He goes the opposite way. Pretty well hit. John Rodriguez on the move, and he makes the catch on the run. Back to first, Holliday. Good play by John Rodriguez.
They've got wet, soggy grass. You're getting in the exchange from grass to warning track. Ball slicing away from you, coming off the bat of a left-handed batter will keep on curling into the corner. So a nice running catch. And he got that ball back in.
It's the work of Tony Angelis out there.
Very nice, Tony. All of our cameramen.
Maybe we could show how close he is situated to the foul pole in left. His camera is right by the screen there. With 1 out, the hitter is Clint Barmas. From his position, that's where Tony sees it. He will be our official authority as to whether or not we're going to have a home run out there. And if there's any debate, we go to Tony. Suppan would love a double play here with 1 out here in the top of the 4th, and the Cardinals leading 4-2.
I think we ought to wire him up to the foul pole, and so he could electronically know if it touches that net, he could get a little shock through his system.
That's really nice, Al.
I'm volunteering Tony's body to science.
Always thinking about the Bud Productions crew. How about a Hungo Award if he'd put himself out on the line, so to speak, physically?
I think he could win one, but I might put a condition or 2 on.
Tony, do you really want a Hungo?
There, nod your head.
You're shaking no, Al.
Okay, that condition got a little tougher.
2 balls and no strikes. You know, Al, all these weeks we give away that coveted Hungo Award, and you have never, ever given it to somebody in our crew. outside of myself.
Of yourself. You were the very first award
Right.
winner. I even remember why.
This one is popped up. And Eckstein has got it.
Joe Mazzola may be a candidate.
Well, you're really nice to these cameramen. You're going to ask Joe to go up on the lights and shoot from up there.
Yeah, but he wants to.
So if he does that, he gets the hungo. Automatic.
He's got to go to the top level.
Just to make it easy.
Well,
good pitch by Suppan and a swing and a miss by Jason Smith. That one at 72 miles an hour.
pulled the string. Look at very little rotation.
The thing that makes that changeup such a good pitch is it's the same arm angle, same arm motion as his fastball, as his curveball. Nothing changes. A guy like Pedro Martinez, you watch his changeup, the way he whips his body and whips his arm, it's amazing. Can make that ball float. He's off to a great start. Maybe the best ever is Trevor Hoffman. He had to change the way that he pitched, and he learned it just out of the bullpen fooling around, and he's got one of the best in the game.
See how that 89-mile-an-hour fastball looked like it was 110. A lot of times you like at least 11 miles an hour differential between your fastball and your changeup. And what Supes was 17.
Greg Maddux, another one.
Mario Soto was the first guy that I remember had a really good fastball and then had an excellent changeup. You know, but Soto was throwing in the low 90s,
right,
and he could throw that effective changeup with that same arm motion and get a lot of hitters.
Down to no balls, 2 strikes. Suppan has struck out 4 this afternoon. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on a curveball. Bennett's got to pounce on it. Guns to first, safe. Took him a while to get there, then he looked almost hesitate. So a strikeout, but yet Jason Smith winds up at first base. He was hustling out of the box right away.
Well, you'll never embarrass yourself if you hustle. And it goes out there, and then Bennett there, see, it took a little time, and he's hustling all the way and just beats the throw. So it's his 5th strikeout, but the inning is extended.
You know, the ball game yesterday, Al, the fact that Chris Carpenter struggled with his command with 6 walks, and the defense let him down a couple of times behind him, but the good ones and the great ones find a way, and he found a way just to gut through that game.
And gave up 2 runs, but only 1 was earned.
He only allowed 4 hits too.
Yeah, gave about 5 outs in that 1 inning where they scored the unearned run, or his defense did.
So strikeout and a wild pitch. Now it's Arduin, who singled and scored back in the 3rd. Runners at first and second for the Rockies. 4-2 Cardinals here in the top of the 4th. And not to be overlooked was the first career win for Adam Wainwright last night, as he again was spectacular out of the Cardinal bullpen. A scoreless 8th, and then a real impressive night from Jason Isringhausen. And he picked up the save. Swing and a miss by Arduin. See why he's struggling. 0-2. Let's see if Suppan wants to go with another breaking ball.
One of the strengths of Dave Duncan is he can very quiet, but people listen to what he says, and then he can really formulate a game plan, help pitchers understand what the weaknesses are of hitters, how to incorporate your strengths against a hitter's weakness, and then it's up to the pitcher to execute the game plan.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. Try to sneak a fastball by him. That's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Umpire was looking up at our scoreboard where a couple of times today it's been messed up with the count, but it's right now. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Trying to get him to chase on that breaking ball again. It's 2-2. Cardinals will have Miles, Suppan, and Eckstein coming up in their half of the 4th. Bennett's thinking, please get us out of here.
Somewhere somebody must have read Suppan's lips, because he puts that glove up there more than anybody.
Well, they know TV cameras are on him. You see it in football all the time with the offensive coordinators calling plays, holding up their play sheet to their mouth. Here's a 2-2 pitch from Jeff Suppan. This is inside. Now, there might not be better than Jim Edmonds at picking up pitches from the dugout. You know, the guy that really goes to him a lot is Jason Isringhausen. If he feels he may be tipping pitches, he'll go to Jim Edmonds and ask him. A full count, runners at first and second with 2 outs, and they'll be off with this pitch. A swing and a miss, strikeout number 6 on the afternoon for Jeff Suppan. John Rodriguez, a good catch out left off the bat of Hop, and it's 4-2 St. Louis midway through the 4th. 4-2 Cardinals in the bottom half of the 4th. We turn to the Hardys' hot pitch of the game.
6 strikeout, a good breaking ball, and that looked like 12-6. Started out about belt high and then falls straight down.
And here is Miles, number 8 man in the lineup today for Tony La Russa, our pregame show guest, as we did it from the batting cages. It's raining outside, so we did the interview in those batting cages. Miles sticks it out to center for a base hit. I want to thank our cameraman Joe Mazzola, who is pulled at about 1,000 different directions prior to the game for interviews with myself or Mike or Joel or Jim, Al. And he finds a way to get it all done. So good job, Joel, and Joe Mazzola, and we appreciate it.
Choked up there, and just kind of a nice little controlled swing, just throwing the ball over the infield.
There's Suppan. Let's see what the Cardinals want to do here. Squares and looks at a strike.
Talking about Joe Mazzola, you thought I was being cruel about telling him to go up there.
Well, he wants to do it.
He wants to do it because he says he's filming right now some type of a documentary for the Discovery Channel. He wants to go all the way to the top, have a bridge down in Mississippi, and he's doing camera work for 450 feet up in the air, walking girders.
The bunt is down by Suppan. Miles to second. Sacrifice is good. He did say that he wanted to be tied, though, Al. He didn't want to just go up there with his camera without being tied down.
No, he said they make him use a safety harness.
I'm saying here, though. He said, I'd like to use a harness here. I'm sure you'll accommodate.
I'll take care of that.
So Miles is in scoring position for David Eckstein. Eckstein is 1 for 2 on the afternoon. You see the Cardinals in-game box score at the top of your screen in our Fox box. Gives you an idea what this lineup has done today. Pujols 2 for 2 with a 2-run homer and a double. Encarnacion with a 2-run shot as well. It's 4-2 Cardinals. They've had 7 hits against Byung-Hyun Kim. The fastball is in there for a strike. When Kim first came to the major leagues, he was almost unhittable. closer with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Nobody had really seen that velocity from a side armor, and then with such an effective late breaking slider.
So when he was in the bullpen, Al, he would literally sleep 2, 3, 4 innings during the game. I mean, they wondered about his intensity down there. I guess I could see why. Two balls and a strike. Of course, everything down to that bullpen, as you well know, Al, is on the up and up.
Nothing goes down there but just intelligent baseball talk.
They're into every pitch down there. Here comes a 2-1. Eckstein with a base hit left side. Miles will be held up at third. He had to wait to make sure that was going to get through the infield, and it's an RBI opportunity now for John Rodriguez.
See Miles out there. Ball's hit in front, so he's got to hold until he saw that it was going to go through. Barmes would not be able to dive and catch it, but there's no way he could score on that ball.
Rodriguez singled and scored on the home run by Pujols back in the first, and he's also grounded out to second.
Saw Oquendo telling Miles all the different scenarios where balls hit right out in front of the plate, how to react, what to do, whether going on contact, whether you're making the ball go through.
Well, you've got a runner at first, another at third, but you've got Pujols on deck, so if you wanted to try to do some stealing, this is probably not the time to do it with that man on deck. There's a 1-0 pitch. Rodriguez hits it foul. Pujols, I've noticed here at the new ballpark where he stands on deck, a little bit different to where he was at the old ballpark. Old ballpark, to me, Al, he was more towards the plate, behind home plate. Here he is not.
Yeah, he would almost try to get the line up behind the batter, so to speak, so he could kind of time the pitcher.
Here comes a 1-1 pitch. Rodriguez gets a piece. If they're able to get Rodriguez here, how would they pitch to Albert Pujols with runners at first and third?
Right, John kind of swung him around to hit the ball to left field. He had his 8-game hitting streak stopped last night. In his first hit, he hit it through the left side, so they're trying to formulate their book on him.
Count of 1 ball and 2 strikes on John Rodriguez, and a check on David Eckstein. Eckstein is 2 for 3 now in the afternoon with that single. Cardinals have 8 hits, 4-8-0 for St. Louis, 2-4-0 for the Colorado Rockies. Rodriguez hitting over 400, still looking for that first home run. The 1-2 pitch. John reaches for it, hits it out to right, and a sliding catch is made. Miles is tagging up. The throw in, not in time. And a run scores in an RBI for John Rodriguez. His 5th on the year, and it's 5-2 Cardinals. Good base running there by Miles.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of third base guys sitting on third base that get trapped halfway, and Miles had to read that one perfectly. Let's watch him. He goes right back to the bag, and Hop has showed that he's a good defensive outfielder, but he's like more than 300 feet away, and that's usually all it takes for a sacrifice fly.
And now they've got to deal with Albert Pujols. 5-2 Cardinals with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Pujols has homered here today and also doubled and scored on the home run by Encarnacion. First pitch inside to Albert Pujols as they set up on the outside portion of the plate, and they'll lose a mistake very quickly.
Kim seeing a home run and a double by pitches in on the outer half of the plate. Maybe try a new location, but he's signaling away again.
1-0 pitch to Pujols inside. And again, Cardinals did not start Eckstein at first, and it sets up a situation where you have that runner there occupying the bag, and more times than not they'll go after Pujols.
Sometimes on a play like the sacrifice fly, you know, McKay will tell that runner at first to get caught in a rundown just to guarantee the run will score.
The 2-0 pitch. Oh, Albert had a rip. You know, the other thing that stands out too, right, is that that throw came through all the way to the plate. Eckstein did not advance to second. Right. He stays at first on that play.
There, even got away from the catcher a little bit, trying to guarantee that Albert's going to get a chance to swing the bat. And he swung on that last pitch. He just came up with part of the ball.
2-2 the count on Albert Pujols. Just joining us, Pujols had a home run down the left field line, a 2-run shot in the first, and he led off the third, the bottom half, with a double down the right field line.
Didn't want the fastball, didn't want the slider. Last one looked like his curveball. Or is that some trick pitch? Back to that 2.
Long look by Kim, the 2-2. Pujols strikes out. So Kim finally gets him. Pujols slams his bat. We head to the 5th. The Cardinals add to their lead. It's 5-2. Suppan is finishing his warm-up tosses. Cardinals on top. We'll tune in tomorrow as Mike Shannon discusses in only the way that he can the current Cardinals, his time with Jack Buck, the status of baseball today, and a whole lot more. It's In My Own Words tomorrow night on FSN. 5-2 Cardinals. So Mike Shannon on In My Own Words tomorrow night. It'll be Kim, Sullivan, and Carroll. Kim sacrificed his first time up. He's swinging away and pops it up. Pujols is there on the infield and takes it. 1 pitch, 1 out. Young Hun Kim never dropped his bat running down that first base line.
That great work ethic. So you're up running out, carry your bat. Why make a bat boy do something you can do yourself?
Just don't see that every day.
He's still got the bat in his hands too, going down the dugout steps.
Yep. Top of the order for the Rockies. Here's Sullivan. Got a 2-out base hit back in the 3rd. He's also struck out 1 for 2 with that RBI.
You know, he has 32 strikeouts already.
Saw that. For a leadoff man, that's too many.
Just to give you an example, Pujols struck out today. Now he has 10. He's got 31 walks, Pujols.
What was that contraption?
It's your built-in tent. Somebody's asleep, but they got a shelter and everything. You should know about that, Dad.
I should.
Toy on the attached to it. It's pretty cool.
Yep. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Sullivan. Strike 2. Get the feeling that these Rockies have a chance to hang around, even if they do falter a little bit, Al, but just because of the division that they play in. I mean, Arizona's 3 games above 500, game and a half out. San Diego finished at 500 a year ago, and they wind up making it to postseason play. You got the Dodgers. They're a game under 500, along with San Francisco.
I think you're right. Glenn Hurdle, as long as you don't run into a buzzsaw like the Cardinals, and you know, but this is the rubber game of the 3-game set.
Out to right center field. Edmonds thought about diving for it, gets past him, and it's to the wall. Sullivan around second base, on his way to third, and it's a 1-out triple for Corey Sullivan. Well, it looked like that was going to be one of those patented diving catches from Jim Edmonds out in center, the 8-time Gold Glover. And he couldn't come up with it. Got past him all the way to the wall.
Well, you know, I think Jim made the right decision not to dive because it's a triple as it is. If he would have dove for it, there's no protection. And the way Corey Sullivan runs, he might have been an inside the park home run. But I think that grass is so wet out there, and the relatively new sod is taking shape and holds very well. It just didn't seem like he had good traction and made up a lot of ground when he went after the ball.
1-out triple by Sullivan. Now Carroll. I mentioned before that Jamie Carroll was third best in sacrifice bunts over the last 3 years. Omar Vizquel the best. So you got to think squeeze play when he's at the plate.
It's only 2 for 12 on the young season with runners in scoring position.
No balls and a strike. Line drive down the right field line, and it's now 5-3. That's a base hit. Carroll is thinking 2. Over to get it, Juan Encarnacion. It's a triple, now a double, and the lead is cut to 2 runs, 5-3 in favor of St. Louis.
That's another reason why you think they're going to hang around, is because they got a lot of offensive players that play at a high degree of energy. They believe in themselves, and that'll get the activity in the bullpen.
Just over 70 pitches thrown for Suppan so far. He's at 74. Todd Helton, the hitter. He doubled his first base hit in this series last time up, and he also lined out to left.
Josh Hancock warming up in the Cardinals pen. There you see him.
Last time we saw Hancock was Sunday at Florida. He went an inning and a third and picked up the win. Relief is Sidney Ponson, and Ponson since then has been put on the disabled list, and Tyler Johnson called up. Second lefty in the Cardinal bullpen along with Randy Flores. Suppan has struck out a season high 6 this afternoon. He's allowed 6 hits and 3 runs. One swing of the bat in this game is tied. Helton a healthy rip at that one. Rain has stayed away on a dark afternoon here at Busch Stadium. Way out in front. And strike 2. Todd Helton, the former quarterback at college at Tennessee. Matt Holliday on deck. He's 1 for 2.
Just can't pitch around Todd Helton because of how well that Holliday has swung the bat. Hop after Matt.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Just missed on the outside corner. Suppan really wanted that pitch.
Does it go around the plate? I think it's a little wide.
This will be pitch number 78 from Jeff Suppan this afternoon. The 2-2 to Helton. Spoiled. As Helton had lost 15 pounds. That illness in which he was checked into the hospital. Scott Rowland lost 10 during his sickness. Two and 2 the count. Outfield is deep and straight away for Helton. The next from Suppan. Really took something off that pitch at 71 miles an hour. Suppan want to get here?
Tyler Johnson has now joined Hancock in the Cardinal pen.
2-2 pitch. Old foul by Todd Helton. That one at 91 miles an hour, and it's been up and down for Jeff Suppan as far as the pitch speeds in this at bat to Todd Helton. 89, 81, 85, 72, 89, 71. That last one, the hardest of this at bat, 91.
Yeah, but it was the location. Wanted to go in to probably get him out of the way, but you had to make sure you got it in to where you could pull it.
Now a 2-2 pitch. Todd Helton, one of the toughest outs in the game of baseball.
Went back inside again, but not a fastball. Looked like maybe a cutter or something.
Of course, he struck out to end the game last night. Jason Isringhausen now was as sharp as we have seen him this year.
I mentioned something to Jason about his performance. He said it's better, getting better.
Struck out the side. Can't get much better.
Well, if you don't get too high, you don't get too low.
Runner at second, and another 2-2 pitch from Suppan. Good at bat here by Todd Helton. He just doesn't chase many balls outside the zone. Not many times will he get himself out.
You're really good hitters. That's what's frustrating as a pitcher. You think you got them set up, you don't want to throw them a strike, and they don't offer if it's not a strike.
The 3-2 pitch. Suppan got it. 74-mile-an-hour pitch. Let's go pitch by pitch. This is brought to you by Chevrolet, as Suppan really mixed up the speeds in this at bat.
Well, it looks like he starts out with a fastball, a sinker out there. Then he starts going with changeup, gets in, then the cutter come in, back to, changing speeds, going in and out, up and down. There's a fastball in, then the off-speed pitch once again misses down, and then it gets him. But I mean, almost every pitch of that sequence still vary. Even if you threw fastballs, they were different speeds in the fastballs.
Holiday out to right field on the move. Encarnacion near the line. He makes the play and flies into the stands. Great catch by Juan Encarnacion. Terrific play by the Cardinal right fielder. And he finished up in the front row. 5-3 St. Louis. Brought to you by Bud Light, Diamondbacks and Cardinals. Friday at 6:30 here on FSN Midwest. Mark Mulder 3-1 against Claudio Vargas. He's 4-1. And the Diamondbacks, as this homestand continues for the Cardinals, Edmonds looks at a strike at the knees. It's a good test for the Cardinals early on in the season to see Colorado, team that is leading the West, and then you've got Arizona right in the thick of things. Edmonds with a base hit to the opposite way. And we'll finish up with the Mets. Some believe to have the best team in the National League.
Jim with that base hit, his first of the day. Second time reaching base, so he walked the first time up. Has extended his hitting streak to 7 games.
And here's Scott Rowland. Hitting .318, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, 1 for 2 with a single back in the first.
Hitting .350 since his return from illness.
Missed 9 games due to that illness.
David Cortez, a right-hander, warming up for the Rockies.
One-0 pitch to Rowland.
Times you get sick and not feeling 100%, you know you're not 100%. You just kind of slow everything down and relax, and good things happen.
Now you go back to 0-2 with Arizona, and Byung-Hyun Kim had 36 saves that season. 36. Last season 5-12, with ERA near 5 as a starter for the Rockies. See if they want to start the runner here. 2 balls and a strike. Edmonds is not running, and the pitch is drilled out to right center field. But Sullivan there will make the catch. Edmonds back to first base. One out, and Encarnacion will dig in. He's had a nice ball game with his 2-run homer and also his catch in the top half of this inning. In the seats and right. It's a good play. That's one thing. Hey, while he has struggled offensively and gotten off to a slow start, he has played pretty good defense. Long look by Kim. The pitch to Encarnacion is a strike. Home run feature brought to you by Suntrip. Cardinals with 38 home runs this season. Suntrip donating $100 for each Cardinal home run. That's the win-win for the Kids Charity Fund. Our thanks to Suntrip. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Tied him up. His home run was last time up back in the 3rd.
That ball missing location is supposed to be further away. It drifted, came back to the middle of the plate. In the middle of the plate, that's a hitter's dream. And the rain is starting to fall.
0-2 the count. Encarnacion strikes out. Nowhere to go though with under 2 outs.
And a runner at first.
And a runner at first. So that's 2 away, and it brings in Gary Bennett. Fourth strikeout on the afternoon for Byung-Hyun Kim. Bennett is 0 for 2. He struck out, grounded out, hitting 185. Well, both these teams have had activity in their bullpens, but have not gone to the bullpen yet.
There was some forecasts of heavy rains to come in later in the afternoon. See a lot of the fans scrambling, saying it's a little harder than what they desire, and more umbrellas popping out.
Foul ball by Bennett on the check swing. The umbrellas are out here at Busch Stadium.
It's one of the things here about the new Busch Stadium with all the different clubs. You know, when it is bad weather, you can still, there's a lot of places to get inside and hide a little bit.
There's an 0-1 pitch with foul ball. That's no balls and 2 strikes. Bennett had a 2-run single in his last start Friday against the Marlins. Not raining all that hard, just a little drizzle.
It's lightened up the last couple minutes. Just a nuisance. Hit the dry side.
They've covered the mound in the bullpen. Jeff Murphy out there. He works with Yadier Molina, the bullpen catcher during the games. Jeff Murphy will run Yadier through a drill in which he is barehanded, and he'll underhand the baseball to him. He says so many times we forget, even at the major leagues, just how to catch the ball with soft hands, and that's one of the drills that they do. Taught to Jeff, who was in the Cardinal system as a minor leaguer, by Dave Ricketts. There's a 1-2 pitch.
Ever seen Jeff Murphy swing the bat?
I have. He was a all Big 8 player at the University of Nebraska, Cornhusker, and then signed with the Cardinals. And now is a coach with Tony La Russa's club.
Yeah, a few years back they thought up so much of him. They said, well, we don't think you're going to make it, but you can make it to the big leagues. Being a bullpen catcher, and he's been a very valuable guy to this organization.
Now the rain has really picked up.
And I've seen him swing the bat too, and a couple times in exhibition games. He likes to wield the lumber.
Yep. Bennett has worked the count full. It's 3-2. Edmonds off with the pitch at first with 2 outs. And Bennett hits it out to right. Well hit into the corner. Over the right fielder. Edmonds to third. He's going to be waved in and he'll score. And Gary Bennett delivers with a 2-out double and an RBI.
That way, Gary Bennett. You know, he's a battler. That's his 5th RBI. That's as many RBIs as Rodriguez has. They both picked up their 5th here today, and that's it for Kim. Glenn Hurdle's going to make a pitching change. Out of way, up a little bit, hits this ball. Hop has been playing brilliant. I think that got over his glove, and he kicked it with his foot.
Yep.
And right there, went off the side of his foot, and then he had to track it down, and Bennett gets a double, but Edmonds scores from first. That's a big extra insurance 2-out base hit.
That makes it 6-3. So big 2-out RBI double for Gary Bennett. Pitching change now for Clint Hurdle. As Byung-Hyun Kim is through for the afternoon. Aaron Miles is due up for the Cardinals. The umbrellas are out. Some of the folks head for cover. Rain is falling here in St. Louis, and it's 6-3 Cardinals. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals, LLC. David Cortez is our call to the bullpen, brought to you by Chevrolet. He's pitched with the Rockies a year ago, Cleveland, and Atlanta, all the way back in 1999. First pitch to Miles is fouled back.
Kind of the vulture. You see, he's already 3-0. Last year, he had 50 appearances for the Rockies, 2-0, so undefeated in his career. Left-handed batters have touched him for a .389 average. Righties .267, but he's at the right spot at the right time with those 3 victories.
Came a late season fixture in the Rockies bullpen last year. Had career highs in every category. This is 11th season in professional ball. And Miles hits it the opposite way. That's going to drop for a base hit. Bennett being waved in. The throw into the plate. He is safe at the plate. Miles delivers. And it's 7-3 Cardinals. A 2-hit afternoon for Aaron Miles to make it 7-3.
And his 6th RBI. Nice slide by Bennett. See this ball slicing out here. Remember, it's getting really wet out there, so a strong throw by Holiday. And it was to the first base side. So Bennett, he sees the catcher set up inside. He goes a little bit outside, and that leg goes right across the plate ahead of the tag.
So that's it for Kim, and it's also it for Suppan, as Jeff Suppan is going to be pinch hit for by Larry Bigby, the former Rocky, against Cortez. Bigby a ground ball to second, and this should do it. Jeff Suppan is in line for the victory as the Cardinals have put up 7 runs against the Rockies. Kim and now Cortez. And the Cardinals lead it by the score of 7-3. 2 RBIs in the inning. 10 hits in the game. 7-3 Cardinals. In downtown St. Louis and Busch Stadium, Cardinals trying to take 2 of 3 against the Rockies. And they lead it 7-3, and the bullpen now is going to have to get it done for the Cardinals in relief of Jeff Suppan. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Chevrolet, and the Cardinals will call upon a left-hander, Tyler Johnson.
Tyler was a late September call-up. He appeared in 5 games last season. Did not allow a run in 2 2/3 innings. When Rincon first got hurt, you look down at Memphis, and Tyler was really just coming off the disabled list. He had a little shoulder tendonitis. got roughed up in one game, but of late he's earned this promotion by allowing just 3 hits while walking none and striking out 7 in his last 4 outings, covering 5 and a third innings for Memphis. Got a real good breaking ball.
Tyler, born in Columbia, Missouri. Tyler James Johnson, 6'2", 180-pounder. He'll turn 25 on June 7th. Selected in the 34th round back in 2000.
Lives outside of Beverly Hills in California. And the interesting thing, his real competition, because I think at one point they wanted to take 3 left-handers out of spring training. And it looked like it would be Cali or Johnson would vie in for that 3rd spot. And these Cali and Johnson were both fighting for that spot. They're best friends. They play together. They play catch every day. They both root for each other. And neither one of them had the good spring. They got sent down. Cali got off to a slow start. And Tyler gets the first promotion.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. See, he's got a pretty good slider here, Al.
Yeah, he's got a good breaking ball. He's effective enough with his fastball, but it's that breaking ball. He had been a starter in the minor leagues, and in the last couple of years they started converting him.
One season he was 15-3 at Peoria back in 2002.
One thing that, he's going to have to make sure that he can throw strikes.
Two and two the count on Brad Hopp, who's flying to left and flying to right. He's 0 for 2. Cardinals lead it 7-3 here in the top of the 6th. He gets a ground ball. A little tricky hop there at the end for Miles. And that's the first out.
And I'm
Get
sure
that first out and you relax a little bit.
That's what the point I was going to make is all of a sudden now you start breathing. And this is a good way to bring him in. Face one left-hander, get him out of there. You feel good about yourself. Tony says I have another second reliable left-hander down there. Now you bring in Josh Hancock.
So that's it for Tyler Johnson. He gets his man Brad Hopp. One out here in the 6th, and Hancock will trot in from the bullpen, and the Cardinals lead it 7-3.
Playing in a drizzle. Second man out of the chute here for the Cardinals is Josh Hancock. Nobody on base. 1 out in the 6th inning. He's appearing for the 15th time. He won that game his last time out there in Florida. And he's only been scored upon in 3 of his 14 previous outings. It's up to the bullpens here, Dan.
7-3. Cardinals on top. Clint Barmas 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Jeff Suppan went 5 innings when he struck out a season-high 7. Out to left field, should be caught, and it is. Just snuck up on John Rodriguez for out number 2.
Got to be able to read the ball off the bat, see where, and listen for the sound, try to judge how well it's hit.
That's Jason Smith. He struck out twice, and he's 0 for 2. Now, what have you thought of Hancock so far this year?
He's kind of a laid-back guy, but he comes up and he throws strikes. At times, he has a off-speed pitch that gets some hitters look a little funky at it. Fastball is good enough when he can locate it. But I mean, to me, he's very, very serviceable, and he's a guy that I think you could put him in any spot. You could I mean, he could also be your sacrificial lamb, and he could handle that mentally.
That is a rope out to right, but into the glove of Encarnacion, and Smith is 0 for 3. Cardinals half of the 6th coming up, and it's 7-3 St. Louis. Rain still falling here in St. Louis, and the Cardinals lead at 7-3 in their half of the 6th. It's the top of the order. David Eckstein, Rodriguez, and Pujols. Makes the catch, and you better be heads up. Souvenir coming your way.
Oh, it's nice of that gentleman.
Did you see the other night where the adult literally tackled the kid? Give him a round of applause up here in the booth, but they tackled a little kid. You can't do that.
Well,
it's like the guy in Texas a couple years ago.
Right, remember that? I think some people just absolutely kind of freak out and kind of forget what they're doing.
Apparently he is Pat Coyle's his name, athletic director at Jerseyville High School.
How'd you find that out?
The truck is telling us, and hopefully we haven't gotten Pat in trouble by playing hooky. And this is his good deed. Pretty soon, if he's got a cell phone, it's going to be going off.
Yeah, Encarnacion threw the ball up the stands. The gentleman picked it up and handed it to this young man. That's a good Samaritan.
Well, we understand that Jerseyville is supposed to be playing in the ballpark after this game.
Oh, now, so he's supposed to be here.
Makes sense. He's off the hook.
He might be trying to explain to his kids why they're not going to play, though, if this weather doesn't clear. No cell phone.
Our buddy Brad Brown from Bud Productions went to Jerseyville High School, and that's how we found all the information out.
All right, what coach is that?
No idea.
Look at it. Will they speed this game up so we can play?
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Eckstein with another base hit into right. 3-hit day for David.
It's another one of the ones where little David gets up on his toes and drives the ball the other way. Should come up not quite as we see him sometimes, but a 3-hit day. All 3 singles.
Al, I was at the ballpark just like you very early this morning. Very early this morning.
Yes.
And one of the guys that was working extra inside that Cardinals clubhouse, doing some stretching and whatnot, and then got into the cage, David Eckstein.
Yeah, why were we here at 7:30 in the morning?
Well, I was happy to be here and participate in the Bud Productions affiliate breakfast. I know you were as well.
Oh, yes.
Now, we do have our Bud Productions crew, and I think maybe we should ask
why they weren't there.
Right. You know, maybe Brad Brown could ask Tom, me, and the gang to make an appearance next year.
Since it is their show.
We hear a lot about those guys throughout the year. I'm sure fans would love to meet the graphics guru, Doug Stanton, or maybe Tom Mee or Lindsey Polite.
Brian McCann,
Tom Mee.
Mike Helling.
In all seriousness, it was a great event this morning, and those guys do a tremendous job. We can't thank them enough for their hard work.
Ray King warming up for the Rockies.
One and 2 the count on Rodriguez. Foul ball. Ray King getting loose in the Colorado bullpen. A count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rodriguez reaching for it. Out to shallow left. And the catch is made by Holiday, and Pujols will wipe off his bat. and dig in. He has doubled and scored, homered, a 2-run shot back in the first. He's also struck out. That was against Byung-Hyun Kim his last time up. Runner at first. That's X time.
Looks like
that's Ojeda, who started in the ball game last night. They need some help out there.
and need a second catcher. How did I get in? Hurry, hurry.
On spring training, of course, you'll see guys running in the outfield.
Well, you know, he might be going in to play the outfield, but they thought how to defense Pujols to put a man on the other side of the fence. Ramirez, this is a young man. Ramirez, a right-hander down there in their bullpen that they're just raving about. It looks like Wainwright warming up for the Cardinals. Oh,
right over the middle of the plate. Now, I know you want to go after a guy like Albert Pujols, and I know you want to see where you stand with some of the game's best, but that's probably not the way you want to do it, Al, if you want to have success.
If you want to have success, but you have to respect a team that will go out and challenge Albert. And how are you going to find out about your young pitchers if they're afraid to throw strikes to them?
Here's the 0-1. Outfield awfully deep for Mr. Pujols.
Sullivan plays very deep all the time.
Check swing. Foul tip, got a piece, strike 2.
About time for Albert to kind of back himself down a little bit. That was a fastball that he just got a little jumpy on. Going to try and elevate the ball up and in.
The 1-2 pitch. Pujols pops it up. It's taken by the shortstop, Clint Barmas. That's out number 2.
Give him credit.
If you're still looking for Cardinals baseball tickets, the newly renovated Hilton St. Louis at the ballpark brings you winning Cardinals baseball packages. You can choose from 2 packages, both with Busch Stadium view rooms and a free make-your-own Fredbird from the Build-A-Bear workshop right here at Busch. For more information, visit HiltonSt.Louis.com. Ray King has been getting loose in a little matchup against Jim Edmonds. Lefty-lefty coming up for Clint Hurdle. With 2 outs here in the Cardinals half of the 6th. Redbirds on top by 4 runs. New pitcher for the Rockies. This will be his 15th appearance. We saw him in game 1 of this series. A record of 1-2 on the season, a 3.72 ERA. 2 strikeouts to 4 walks. Opponents, though, hitting nearly .360. Against Ray this season, he'll face a former teammate, Jim Edmonds. 7-3 St. Louis.
So 1 for 8, but lefties are batting .294 this year. Right-handers .409. And Apodaca was telling me he's had a little bit of trouble getting the ball to his glove side, out there. You're going to throw a breaking ball, and there were times last year that really had a hard time telling the difference between a sinker and a slider. That just everything stayed on the same plane, didn't have the tilt to his breaking ball, didn't get it away enough times to left-handed batters.
Runner was off with a pitch, Eckstein, and that's strike 2. 0-2 the count as Ray King appeared in 77 games with the Cardinals a season ago. He was 4-4 with an ERA of 3.38, but he did not leave on the best of terms with Tony La Russa. Very vocal about how he was used down the stretch and in postseason play. Very unhappy about it. Ray was shipped to Colorado. Aaron Miles and Larry Bigby on their way to St. Louis.
It's a shame because Ray's a good guy. Spent a couple fun years here in St. Louis. There was a lot going on in his life. You know, his father had cancer late in the season and then finally succumbed to cancer in October. So there were circumstances, but it could have been handled better. And I'd have to say, really, from Ray's standpoint.
Eckstein is running. The pitch is taken for a ball. Throw to second. Safe. Just beat the tag. Ray King was barking back at the home plate umpire, trying to figure out where this pitch was. Count is 2-2. Eckstein steals a base.
You know, sometimes when you have that pitch coming to the plate and the guy is running, the catcher will pop up and kind of take the pitch away from the home plate umpire. And you really can't fault, you know, the umpire if he can't see the pitch, but in that effort to throw out the runner, he pops up and the umpire can't see whether it's a strike or not. That might have been the case.
Umbrella is still out here at Busch Stadium. Not much of a rain now, if any. Count is even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ray King started with the Cubs back in '99. 3 years in Milwaukee. 1 with the Braves, 2 with St. Louis, and now with the Rockies. Jimmy hits the deck.
Well, he wasn't that close. Of course, the crowd's going to react to think, well, what was wrong with these two teammates? Well, nothing. They were good friends.
Here comes a 3-2 to Edmonds. Got him. Jimmy knew it. So strikeout for Ray King against his former teammate. And the 7th inning from Busch Stadium in St. Louis is coming up. Midwest Sports Report, complete Cardinals postgame coverage and all the sports news and notes from around the major leagues and the rest of the sports world coming up on the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report. Adam Wainwright, fresh off his first major league win last night, into the ball game. The 7th inning, he'll deal with the bottom of the order. And Wainwright's numbers pretty impressive. 15 2/3 and a .57 ERA. 14 strikeouts in those 15 2/3, and opponents only hitting 113 against him. It's been fun to watch.
Remember, I say the first batter you face sometimes the most important for a reliever. Wainwright has come into 11 games prior. As you see, Taguchi takes over in left field. In 11 games, Wainwright has retired that first batter 10 times.
Dwayne is singled to right and struck out swinging. It's 1 ball, 1 strike from Adam Wainwright.
Out there, very determined. Mound presence, he shows that he's in charge, taking control of this game. All maxed out when he kind of comes into a relief outing, but he would have to have somewhat different demeanor if he was starting.
The 2-1 pitch. Hard hit left side and a leadoff base hit for the Rockies to start the 7th. Dwayne is 2 for 3. Eli Marrero, former Cardinal, will dig in. He's part of the deal and sent him to Atlanta, now playing with the Colorado Rockies. And as Al told you earlier, filling in for Todd Helton when he was sick and in the hospital, it was Marrero playing over at first base and put up pretty good numbers. 4 home runs, 9 RBIs on the year, and he's hitting over 300.
He's had 7 pinch hit appearances. He's 0 for 6 with a walk.
Out in front of the plate, Wainwright only plays to go to first, and Eli is retired for the first out.
Swinging bunt.
Advancing is Dwayne to second base, and it's the top of the order, Corey Sullivan. Wainwright is the 4th pitcher used by the Cardinals today. Jeff Suppan went 5 innings. Tyler Johnson, 1/3 of an inning. Hancock 2/3, and now Wainwright. Randy Flores getting loose in the pen, presumably for Todd Helton.
That's why you really like having that second left-hander down there. Even if you had a third, be even more mix and match and work these different pitching matchups.
Strike one. Corey Sullivan, who tripled and scored his last time up. Ball that got by Edmonds to the wall. Picked up an RBI base hit with 2 down in the third and struck out to start the ball game. It's 7-3 Cardinals as we play here in the top of the 7th. Here's the 0-1 from Wainwright. That is smoked out to center field. Backing up Edmonds on the move, Jimmy's got it. Runner will tag up from second to third. Another great play by Edmonds out in center field for out number 2.
He plays a shallow outfield, so he wants to take as many hits away in front of him, but he still has that ability to go back on the ball. And what's impressive here is it's a wet track. It's kind of slow out there for your footing, but yet he tracks it down, catches it. Then he's got to kind of stutter step to try and slow up before he get it back into the infield. 8-time Gold Glover, 6 consecutive wearing the Cardinal uniform.
There's Jamie Carroll with 2 outs and a runner at third. Roland is even with the bag at third. Outfield shallow, shades him a bit to the opposite way. Carroll on the afternoon has picked up an RBI double. He's flied to right, grounded out to first. He plays so shallow out there in center, Al. He's got to read it off the bat. 99 out of 100 times he's going to get a great jump. Edmonds out in center. You just can't play that shallow without being able to read it off the bat.
Well, and you also have that ability to know you can go back on a ball. He's always kind of in somewhat conflict with Dave McKay, the Cardinal coaches, and Tony La Russa in that philosophy. They want him to play deeper.
Look at that curveball that time from Wainwright.
Wainwright's jumped it up a little step here with that runner over at third base. He's got 2 outs, and the last thing he's going to do is make sure that guy gets stranded at third.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Wainwright, of course, a starter in the minor leagues. And to be an everyday big leaguer, he's got to work out of the bullpen. Another curveball misses just outside and brought up a valuable point as Bennett bounces it back to Wainwright. Eckstein was backing up, but you brought up a valuable point last night, the fact that Wainwright can just let it loose for the 3 outs that he's got to get in any particular night.
3 outs, 6 outs, and the thing that they're so pleased with, and is proven here today, is his resiliency, his ability to bounce back.
2-2 pitch. Fastball. He got him. Called third strike on Jamie Carroll. Another good outing here from Adam Wainwright. Pujols, Encarnacion, and Bennett 2 up for St. Louis. Today's merchandise winner, the Hyundai Long Drive Inning Sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run in the 7th, Jill qualifies for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. You can register by visiting a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Ramon Ramirez out of the bullpen, a right-hander for the Rockies. His 10th appearance on the year. He has a record of 2-0. 16 strikeouts to just 2 walks.
And this is something that they were going to experiment a little bit. Eli catching. You know, we all know him as a catcher. Gonzalez is out at second base. But to keep his bat in there, as they're not getting a lot of production, offensive production from the catchers, and so they had toyed with the idea where Eli really has shown that he doesn't want to do this the last couple of years. I want to talk more about Ramirez when we get a chance.
Scott Rowland will dig in. 7-3 Cardinals. We got the chance right now.
Well, this kid, you know, he's the lone relief pitcher in the major leagues with a minimum of 12 innings to have yet allowed a run. He left-handed batters 1 for 16, right-handers 4 for 25, 122 average overall. But the left-handed batters are 0-63 against him. Righties 160. He was one of the 2 pitchers acquired in the Sean Chacon trade with the Yankees on July 28, 2005.
Chacon in Colorado was a starter and their closer for a while. Popped up off the bat of Scott Rowland. Foul territory. Barrero will give it a look, and it's out of play. Ramon Ramirez out of the Dominican Republic.
Ramirez was also, originally signed as an outfielder. And then in his second year, they converted him to a pitcher. So he doesn't have all that wear and tear on his arms, and he looks like he's got a good arm.
Here's the 0-2. Check swing held up by Scott Rowland. He's a 24-year-old entering his 4th professional season this year. Played in the Arizona Fall League last season. And really primarily he's been used as a starter prior to this season. He was considered the Yankees' 5th best prospect before that deal. And Rowland hits it down the left field line and foul.
Dan, it has changed somewhat now, but particularly when I got into pro ball, if you signed and they put you in the bullpen, you were just filling a roster spot. You had no plans. And so it really is the normal way to take a young guy with a good arm, put him in the rotation, let him get as many innings as possible. And now maybe when you get to AA, AAA, you start moving him into the bullpen. But he's got that many more innings under his belt.
Pitch number 6 coming up here against Scott Rowland with a ball and 2 strikes. Rowland has singled to center. He's grounded out and fly to center. It's been a while since we've seen him hit a home run. Out to right field. Who's raising the bar? Singular wireless question. It was the Cardinals' last off day. There you go, April 20th. Cardinals will enjoy the off day tomorrow. Arizona in town on Friday night for the first of 3. Off day on Monday. Tony La Russa will hold his golf tournament to benefit his foundation on Monday afternoon. And Tuesday, the Mets in town. Ramirez in relief of King, Cortez, and Kim. Kim made the start for Colorado. He went 4 2/3. They made that deal, the Yankees. They needed a shot in the arm, and they got it in Chacon. He pitched very well for New York at the end of last season, and speculation was that he would be bumped from the rotation this year, but that's not the case. He's pitched well again.
And you have to give up something that's, you need to acquire something. You got to give up some talent, and it looks like Rockies got something in return.
Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss by Encarnacion on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Juan has struck out 3 times, but he does have a 2-run homer.
Grip out there on the sinker, and it just had a little run to it. And that's 3 strikeouts plus a 2-run home run for Encarnacion.
Here's Bennett. Picked up a RBI double to right field last time with 2 outs. Cardinals got a couple of key 2-out hits back in the 5th. They lead it 7-3.
Go back to Encarnacion's 2-run home run. That was a 2-out tally right there. So some big hits with 2 outs today. Todd Helton, the first Rocky to hit. Looks like Flores will come in to face him. You have Looper, and then you have Izzy. Go through everybody down there.
Here's a 1-1 pitch upstairs to Bennett. I understand there's all kinds of hard rain in the area and possibly on its way to Busch Stadium. It's been raining for about 20-25 minutes now.
Thanks for that news.
And to break it to you, Al. Two and two, the count on Bennett. Barry Bonds will go against the Chicago Cubs again tonight, trying to set history. Ty the Babe. He was robbed of a home run last night by Juan Pierre in center field. 2-2 pitch. He got him. Bennett knew it. The Cardinals are done in their half of the seventh. Eighth inning coming up. It's 7-3 St. Louis. Fans, if you're traveling around the country, you can watch the Cardinals from your computer. MLB.TV. It's available at STLCardinals.com. MLB.TV. Randy Flores making his 12th appearance of the season for the Cardinals, a 1.86 ERA and 9 2/3. Opponents hitting just 171 against him, and Flores will face Todd Helton.
Well, nice to see Randy Flores, who had a breakout season last year, increase his workload and be equal to the task. He's done a nice job. He's spent a long time in the minor leagues also. He's paid his dues. Is that Eddie Matthews, Greg Matthews?
Greg Matthews, the former Cardinal, still calls St. Louis home.
Rick Matthews, the bullpen coach for the Rockies, getting a better seat. It wasn't Greg Matthews, because you know what his number was?
I don't remember.
53. You know why it was 53? His favorite movie was Herbie the Love Bug. And that's what Herbie's number was. And he said, Herbie and I are just a lot alike. We get into jams and we get out of them. If you want to.
Sounds like a fun teammate.
He proved to be left-handed.
Well, the rain has picked up a little bit.
And how about downtown?
Look out west, it is dark.
So thanks a lot for your good information. I'd rather go to the right field. It's a little more sunny.
Eckstein with a little English on that spin. That's the first out. That's how we start play.
I think Randy's
at the top of the eighth.
Randy's glad he didn't deflect that ball once it ended up in Eckstein's glove and on over to first, but would have been one of those highlight reels if he would have caught it. Russa talking about it and everything's just going, I can't even get my arm up that way.
Now it's Matt Holliday, and it has gotten dark here at Busch Stadium.
I think some of the people are starting to head for the covers because they know it's not going to be long before it's going to come down pouring.
Holliday out to deep right field, on the move. Encarnacion, he'll look up, and it's off the top of the wall. It gets away from him, and Holliday on his way to second, chugging to third. Throw by Juan is cut off by Eckstein. A one-out triple for Matt Holliday, the second triple the Cardinals have seen hit by the Rockies today.
Another 2-for-4 day for Holliday, continuing his .500 career average against Cardinal pitching. Out away from him. Beltai slices it here, then hit off the wall, caroms away from Encarnacion. And he is an impressive young hitter.
It's circling out.
This is not timed, and it's starting to come now. Look at the flag starting to blow. You can just see the darker clouds overhead. And apparently we're going to stall.
Brad Hopp is over 3, grounded out back in the 6th. He's hitting .333 on the year. It was the one man that Tyler Johnson saw. This pitch has popped up left side. That one's going to find the seats out of play.
Well, you could see how this shaping up. No matter what Hopp does here, more than likely Looper comes in to replace Flores. Looper will finish the 8th inning and then turn it over to Izzy.
0-1 pitch misses outside from Randy Flores.
Hopefully with still a 4-run lead.
Hopp is fly to right, fly to left, and Looper getting loose. As mentioned before, he grounded out. Little ground ball hit to Scott Rowland, only play to go across the diamond. Run will score. That makes it 7-4. So Hopp picks up the RBI, his 23rd. With 2 outs, it's Barmes.
He's called to the bullpen right now. Just to see nobody on base at 2 outs, maybe.
Encarnacion on the move in foul territory. Yes, makes the catch. Second time he's been near that front row this afternoon. The other time he went flying into the seats. Cardinals half of the 8th coming up at 7-4. Working hard between innings. As the rain is picked up, they put down the drying agent on the infield. Ramirez out there for his 2nd inning. And this is Miles trying to bunt his way on. Maybe trying to hurry up too.
It's a combination. That 17-inning game one time in Philadelphia, 2 days after he played 25 in New York, took a 5-run lead in the top of the 17th inning, and before we could complete the game had to withstand a 2.5-hour rain delay. So 17 innings plus a 2.5-hour rain delay. Maybe we could be lucky to see that much baseball here this afternoon.
The wind is just swirling here at the ballpark too.
I bet the riders are enjoying that.
1-2 the count on Aaron Miles. Our guy's got to stick it out there.
All bundled down, trying to tie down the cameras.
Now they're saying they want the hungo out.
For everybody in the crew.
Miles taps it foul.
Now do they each get an individual one, or do I just break one up and share it with all of them?
And who's the official spokesperson for the crew? Tony?
You want one, Tony?
He keeps that's the 2nd time he has turned you down, Al.
Yeah, but I saw it.
Aaron Miles with a base hit into right. A 3-hit day for Miles. I think everybody in the crew is maybe not wanting the bobblehead, but more so a night out at the ballpark saloon for themselves and their family. Of course, you'll pick up the tab.
Now that probably could be arranged.
I mean, I don't want to speak for the crew, Al, but just thinking that might be a suggestion.
Be probably a pretty nice one for how well they treat us.
Yes, it would. So Taguchi will be the pinch hitter. 8 of his 11 RBIs have come in his last 8 games. And Taguchi will sacrifice here with a runner at first base, Aaron Miles. The rain coming down here at Busch Stadium. Gets the bunt down, stays fair, rolls fair, and the sacrifice is good. It's one of those plays where you charge and you better make the decision pretty quickly, because that could stay fair and instead of letting that thing roll foul, you just don't know. It was hit hard enough, it might just stay fair all the way down the line.
And like you said, it was hit hard enough that if you tried to, not field it and it stays fair, that could have rolled to the outfield.
Right. Here's David Eckstein. Eckstein today, 3 hits, a stolen base, 3 for 4. But just joining us, the Cardinals have picked up runs in the first, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. Albert Pujols, a 2-run homer. Juan Encarnacion, a 2-run homer. Pitch to David Eckstein upstairs.
Scott Spezio is at the on-deck circle. He'll be hitting for Flores.
A 3-hit day for Eckstein, 3 for 4. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Eckstein.
I think the temperature has dropped about 10 degrees.
Ball and 2 strikes on the Cardinals shortstop. 7-4 St. Louis. The pitcher steps off the rubber. That one caught the umpire. Ouch.
Yep.
Rockies will have the bottom of their order coming up in the ninth. Now the catcher is going to give the umpire some time. That's Eli Marrero.
Yeah, it's not the type of weather conditions to be giving umpires time. Finish it off right. I think he appreciates it, but I think Jim Wolf saying, come on, let's go.
The wind is just swirling here inside the ballpark. A ball and 2 strikes on David Eckstein. Swing and a miss. Coming up, it's the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report. Jim Hayes has a preview.
Coming up after the game on the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report, post-game reaction from the Cardinal clubhouse, Tony La Russa live, plus Jeff Gordon and your phone calls at 1-888-RING-FOX. See you after the game.
All right, Jim. Pretty emphatic about see you after the game now. Jim Hayes and the crew getting ready for the post-game show, and this is Spezio.
Got his first Cardinal hit right here at Busch Stadium. It was a home run. It's third pinch hit home run of his career, and it made he and his father the first father-son combination to have home runs for the Cardinals in their history.
They're going to play through this. They play through it in the ninth, you would figure, right?
Yeah. A little more doctoring of the field, though, and probably the pitcher's mound and home plate.
Spezio hits it behind home plate and into the seats. Look in the Cardinal dugout, and the only guy standing in the rain is Tony La Russa. Now he backs up. He's still got the shades on, though.
Jacket zipped up.
Scott Spezio has been taking more ground balls at second base.
He played there as a regular for a couple years. Did the same at first and third, and a lot of experience in the outfield.
Here comes a 2-1 pitch. Instead, a check on that runner at second base, and he is not going anywhere, Mr. Ramirez. I got to tell you.
Fans are letting him know it too.
Slow roller hit to third. Spezio retired. We head to the ninth. Cardinals will try to take 2 or 3 when we come back. They lead it 7-4. Take a look at the game recap. It's brought to you by Jack in the Box. Jeff Suppan made the start this afternoon for the St. Louis Cardinals. He goes 5 innings. He strikes out a season-high 7. Albert Pujols being Albert Pujols. A double, a 2-run home run this afternoon. Juan Encarnacion also added a 2-run shot of his own and a good play in right field. A couple of good plays defensively. And now this ball game has been turned over to Jason Isringhouse and Bill Finley there in the background working on the mound for Izzy, and they worked on the infield as well. And Jason Isringhouse and Al trying to pick up save number 10, and he was terrific last night.
Well, he struck out the side in his 1 inning of work, picked up the save, and of course he's trying to get save number 10. If he is successful, Albert Pujols already will pick up game-winning RBI number 10.
Yeah.
He leads the major leagues now. It would be his 8th game-winning RBI in the team's last 13 wins and 10 on the season, which is first in the major leagues. Joe West, the crew chief here, trying to do whatever they can because this looks like this rain has settled in for a while, and you always, are concerned about the health of players. You don't want to see anybody get hurt, but you try and play it.
Isringhausen struck out the side last night. They included the top of the order, and Todd Helton. Quickly, it's 0-2.
That was a good cutter right there. You could see that it came in and then had that whip and tail into the left-handed batter. Another cutter order.
The 0-2 to Jason Smith. Fought off and fouled back. Cardinals lead it 7-4. Isringhausen last season 39 saves, 5th best in the National League, and his 6th straight season with 20+ saves.
Fastball in. Out over the plate, but fouled back.
Well, now when he's got all his pitches working, it's can play to the mind of the hitter. With the cutter, the fastball, and a very good curveball.
A lot of times, you get by with a closer that has 1, 2 pitches. Just a little inside, but like you said, when Izzy has 3 of them going, it makes him that much more difficult. That's like Trevor Hoffman when he was really healthy. He had 4 very good pitches. Curveball.
Here's a 1-2. Upstairs. 2-2.
Hung it up there. That was pretty much put everyone away with a curveball yesterday. Go back to the cutter.
The 2-2 pitch. It'll be tough for the umpires down that first and third base line to figure out exactly where the chalk line is. It's been erased with that drying agent that's been put onto the field.
I bet they'll figure it out. Cutter away.
2-2 pitch. Looked it out to deep left field, backing up Sotaguchi on the move, and he makes the catch. Good play by Sotaguchi. He had a long way to go, battling the wind and battling the rain, and he comes up with a good play out on the track.
And you're out there sloshing in the wet turf. This has a good drainage system to it. Out away from him, send him back there, kind of. And then right at the last second, it looked like it took off on him, blew away from him, but yet he hauls it in. Luis Gonzalez, the reason he has not been hitting or playing every day is he's been struggling. He hit .292 last year for Colorado with 9 home runs and 44 RBIs.
New Rosenbag out there, so there's 2 behind Jason Isringhausen. One was thrown out from the dugout. First pitch, a strike. Not 1, but 2 out there, Al.
And that's a veteran move. Put the new one on top of the
right.
wet one, so it, just don't soak up any of that mud.
Broken bat, hit left side. Goes to the shortstop. Long throw. 2 outs.
About the concentration. Scott Rowland dodging the bat. It ends up at the feet of Eckstein. His concentration too.
That's got to be a wet baseball he just threw.
No, that one I will agree that I wouldn't want to throw.
No. And the Rockies are down to their final out, and Isringhausen again looks sharp.
Eli Marrero.
Struck out the side last night. He's gotten the first 2 here today. Eli's got some power with 4 home runs on the year. Cardinals lead it 7-4, 7-13-0 for the Redbirds, 4-8-0 for Colorado. We've seen Flores, Wainwright, Hancock, Johnson, and now Isringhausen out of the Cardinal bullpen. Curveball, a beauty in there for strike 2. The Cardinals can hold on. They'll be tied with Cincinnati for first place in the Central. After the night is through, they could be in sole possession of first in the Central.
0-2. Pretty much a fastball hitter, a mistake hitter. Throw the cutter.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Got him. Game over. Cardinals take 2 of 3. The save for Isringhausen. 7-4 the final. Pujols and Juan Encarnacion both go deep with 2-run shots. The Cardinals win it 7-4. Jeff Suppan now 4-2. Byung-Hyun Kim is 1-1. Our play of the game is brought to you by Budweiser. All the way back in the first, Albert Pujols, after a single by John Rodriguez, he drives him in with his 18th home run. On RBIs, 42 and 43. Back to wrap things up in a moment. 7-4 our final. 13-0 for the Cardinals, 4-8-0 for Colorado, and a good win and a good series for St. Louis.
It really was. And Jeff Suppan gets the win. He's 4-2. But Isringhausen gets that 10th save. The bullpen was active. They all did their job. And most importantly, Albert Pujols comes through again.
Albert Pujols, 18 home runs on the year. Cardinal Baseball is produced by Bud Productions, an exclusive presentation of FSN Midwest. Next Cardinals broadcast will be on Friday night right here on FSN. Diamondbacks in town, 6:30 on FSN Midwest. Our final score today, the Cardinals win it behind Jeff Suppan. He's 4-2. The final 7-4. Midwest Sports Report comes your way now.